Hello. Tree ferns, Dicksonia Antarctica. And this is our collection of 6 tree ferns, and we're making a little jungle garden at the rear of the cottage. There's going to be a circular patio, and all these that are in pots, which you see around here, are going to be planted into the ground like this one. We had 5 until last weekend when we splashed out on this lovely 7-foot specimen which we bought from the palm tree company. We bought that unseen online, and for the record, the palm tree company were excellent. It was delivered on time, it was brought round to the back. It's quite a heavy thing, and they've answered several of our emails very promptly, so we were very happy with our purchase. In this video, I'm going to unwrap our tree ferns, which have been wrapped up for the winter. It's not absolutely necessary to protect these for the winter because they are quite hardy plants, but because they're quite expensive plants, we just did take the extra step of protecting these. And today's the day, late March, where we're beyond the risk of any real frosts at the rear of the cottage in this little courtyard. So I'm going to spend the day unwrapping these. Whilst I'm doing that, I'll explain to you some of the key aspects of tree fern care, which I've learnt over the years of having these tree ferns. Eventually, these are all going to be planted into the ground like that one. I'm going to put a lovely little patio here, and this will be a lovely cool place in the hot summer months to have a coffee out of the direct sunlight. Now this specimen is 7 feet tall. I'm 6 foot tall, and you can see it's up above my head. There is a foot buried into the ground, and it will produce roots into the ground, but those roots are not to feed the plant, they're just for stability. The living plant is up here in the crown, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a moment. And one of my tree ferns has got roots on it, that one there, that smaller one in the plastic pot. We bought that second hand, we dug it up, and we know there's roots at the bottom of it, and I'll be able to show you those roots in a future video when I plant these into the ground. So as I say, in today's video, whilst I unwrap these tree ferns, I'll tell you everything I know about this amazing plant. These are imported from their native lands, places like New Zealand and Tasmania, and they come over in great big shipping containers, and they tend to be imported once a year, and they arrive in the UK in and around February. And you can see there I've just taken a hessian sack. That hessian sack is really just cosmetic. Underneath the hessian sack, what I do at winter time is wrap them in this wool-based insulation. It's just to give the crown a little bit of extra protection. They are quite hardy plants. They probably would survive a winter in the UK, but because they are quite expensive plants, I don't want to take the risk. So I've wrapped these up. I'm just cutting through some string here, which is holding that wool in place. And as I unwrap the woolen insulation, you can see a thin layer of horticultural fleece. And the anatomy of the tree fern is quite interesting. The trunk is made up of years and years and years of fronds which have gone over and died away. In the wild, these fronds would not be pruned off. We prune them off to make the trunk look lovely and neat and erect and straight. But in the wild, they would just droop down and fall to the floor and afford this trunk some protection. And these fronds, they start off as little tiny knuckles in the centre of the crown. And as one grows and falls over and dies away, another one emerges, and they unfold into these beautiful long green leaves. The benefit of having such a tall specimen like this one and this one over here at the back is eventually those leaves will reach over, they'll arch over, and they'll cover us in a lovely dappled shade. Getting back to the anatomy, it does have roots, it will put roots down, but when these are imported, they're simply chainsawed at the bottom and at the top. And any roots that this plant had have been left back in Tasmania, but by putting it in the ground in contact with the earth, it will send out new roots. They will just be for stability, because between the root and the crown is a lot of effectively dead matter that's not really doing anything other than helping the crown reach up to the sky. for light, because these exist under the canopy in the jungle forest. And that informs how you feed these plants, because what you do is you feed them from the top. Because if you imagine where these are situated underneath the tree canopy, you'll also understand that food drops down into that crown. So what I do is I just place a very small handful of pelleted chicken manure into the top, and that's a kind of a slow release food, and it probably imitates and resembles bird droppings which drop into this crown in the wild. And they do exist in very humid, warm places underneath the tree canopy. So it's really important that you never let that crown dry out, even in the winter time. I understand that as many of these die from drying out in the winter time as they do from frost. So when it's been wrapped in these 3 layers of protection, the fleece, the insulation and the sack, I also place in the top of the crown a small handful of dead leaves, and they sit in there and just insulate the crown from the very severe frost, but they also allow moisture to drop down into the crown and stop it from drying out. The other benefit of using leaves is they're quite light, and when the new fronds start to appear, they can be pushed out by the new fronds. If you pack straw down in there, you might damage the fronds and prevent them from emerging in the springtime. And they do say that you can never overwater that crown. You can't give it too much water, and it should never be allowed to dry out. This winter protection that you see on the crown of my tree ferns was put in place in October, November last year, and you can see the video for it on my channel, but it's pretty straightforward, as I've already explained. Horticultural fleece, insulation and a coffee sack, just to make it look slightly more aesthetically pleasing. And of course I shall keep all this for next year when I protect it again. And it's certainly a lovely feeling unwrapping these tree ferns, because it means that spring is finally here and we can start to look forward to them producing lots of lovely new fronds. There's more evidence of the leaves which I placed in the top. Going back to when I purchased these, particularly that one which I've just purchased from the palm tree company, if you go to a garden centre and buy one of these, I would advise that you go to a reputable garden centre that knows what they're talking about. And also, if you buy one from a garden centre, feel the weight of it, because if it's got some weight to it, that indicates that it's still a little bit damp. It hasn't been allowed to dry out. I've just been reminded of the fact that this one has got some little fronds growing out here from the trunk. And when you're at the garden centre, ask the staff what they know about them, just to give you an indication whether they've got any specialist knowledge or not. And I think that's one of the benefits of using someone like the palm tree company, who've been selling these for years. They're quite expensive plants. You're probably spending between £40 and £50 a foot, so you can work out for yourselves how much this one was. Because of the lack of root system when they're delivered, when you do put them in the ground, they're not very stable. And you can imagine when that's got fronds growing out, it's quite top heavy, especially when there's a wind. There won't be a great deal of wind in this sheltered courtyard, but there will be some wind, which is why I've taken the precaution of building a little stake with a batten across, which braces it. And temporarily I've put some blue rope round just to hold it in position, but I've just bought this slightly more attractive natural jute twine off the internet. I'll put a link to that below this video. And of course, if you buy it, I will get some commission, so thank you for your support. My 2 other taller ones at the back here, this one with a bit of a curve on it, and this tall one here, which I don't know if you can see behind the camera. I'll move the camera. Yes, these 2 have been kept in planters, but because they're top heavy, I've had to build a kind of a frame, which you can't see, but it's concealed underneath the compost in these pots, and that frame just gives them a little bit of extra support. These are going in the ground here, so I won't be using that frame method. I will build similar braces for these 2. This one has got a rather attractive curve on it, and that makes it slightly more expensive. You do pay extra for the bend or the curve in the trunk. So in terms of feeding, as I've already mentioned, I'm repeating myself, I do put a very small handful of pelleted chicken manure into the crown. Not too much, you don't want to overfeed it or risk burning the rhizome with food, but that's a kind of a slow release food, the pelleted chicken manure. I also water them once a week with liquid seaweed food. But I suspect more important than any food that you give to these plants is not to let them dry out. We won't have any hot sunny days around at the back of this cottage because it's largely sheltered. It's surrounded. Even so, I will make sure that they're very well watered. And it's also important to make sure that they don't dry out in the winter time when they're protected like this. In the top of these is that little handful of leaves which I mentioned to you before, and I'm going to leave that in place. When the time comes, the plant will push them out of its own way. Sometimes when you buy these, the top, the crown, feels a little bit closed in and compacted, but by keeping it watered and moist, you will soften all this hard wood at the top, and that will allow it to open out. Another tip in terms of watering is water the whole trunk. Don't stop at the crown. Wet this whole thing from top to bottom, because that will then become almost like a sponge, a store of water. Some of it will seep down, but some of it will evaporate and create humidity around the plant. And when you think about the native habitat of these plants, it's pretty clear that humidity and moisture are key. We've bought 3 of these from garden centres. We've been very happy with them. That one we bought from the palm tree company online, but that one over there in the plastic tub we bought second hand from a gardener. I suppose one of the other benefits of buying them from a garden centre is you can get a guarantee. And what I'm doing here now is I'm very gently feeling in to the crown of this to see if there's any evidence of new knuckles, new growth, new fronds emerging, and I can feel a couple, and that's quite exciting because it won't be long now before the average temperature makes those spring into life. I've got another 2 to unwrap. One of the benefits of putting them in planters like this is that it elevates it. It makes it look like a bigger plant, and also if you're sitting next to it you get to see the trunk. And what I've done is I've bought several plants of different heights, from a very small one, a medium one, a taller one and a very tall one, so that I get a range of different heights. And by doing that, I get to enjoy all the different aspects of the tree fern from above and from the side, because the trunks to me are one of the very interesting features of this plant. These coffee sacks were only about £4 each off the internet, and you can buy them on Amazon. I will put the link below this video. I've already mentioned that I do get paid a commission if you buy anything through my link. I've got to say that it's one of the community guidelines for YouTube. But if you do buy anything through one of my links, I very much appreciate your support. After I've unwrapped these, I'm going to give them a good soak to allow water down into these trunks, for the reasons I've already mentioned. I'll just have a quick feel to see if there's any new fronds emerging. And yes, there are several quite healthy ones in the bottom of there. Last but not least, this little diddy one over in the corner. So there we are, the unwrapping of the tree ferns, which have been safely kept in the compound, wrapped up nicely for the winter. I hope you've enjoyed this little guide to tree ferns, Dicksonia Antarctica. Please do subscribe and hit the notifications bell. I'm about to plant these in the ground and make a lovely green fern garden. I'm also going to plant some hostas in and amongst underplant. And do comment below if you got any comments or observations about tree ferns. Have you got tree ferns? Whereabouts in the world are you? And what would you say are the key aspects of care when you've been looking after yours? And hopefully, I'll see you soon.